First video of the year, and it's got me returning back to the comic book company that got me first notice. Funny how things work, huh? Oh god, so it's the beginning of the video, I gotta make a joke. Call me the beast the way I be ringing her bell. Look, I'm not the funniest guy in the world. Look, you came for the comic, okay? Let's just focus on that. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Pumpkineer, and today we're gonna be covering the Belle comic series because it won the poll. Yeah, that's right, I've been listening to my day ones. Created by David Franchini for Zine Scope Comics in 2018, Belle kind of has a crazy publication history. Obviously, she's based off of Belle from the Beauty and the Beast book that came out in 1740, written by Gabrielle Suzanne Barbette de Villeneuve. I absolutely butchered that, bro. But it became more popularized when Disney made the absolute flop Nigga and the Beast. I'm just kidding, I actually do like Beauty and the Beast. I'm more of like a Mulan guy, you know? That movie made a man out of me. Put some hair on my chest. But it's been a well-known IP for a while now, and it's in the public domain. And so Zine Scope does what it does best by making a comic out of Belle. Kind of like what they did with Wizard of Oz or like Winnie the Pooh. Both comics that I have covered if you want to check them out after the video. But in 2018, they had a 6-issue comic series that takes place in Zine Scope's Grimmverse, a universe made up of other public domain characters like Van Helsing and Alice in Wonderland. But after her first story, they made a whole bunch of one-shots for her annually. But we're just gonna focus on the first one today. So why don't you just be my guest and enter this castle of entertainment that is Belle, Beast Hunter. The issue starts in DC at the American History Museum, where we see a young lady dragging a body. Turns out this body is a minotaur, and our bad bitch Belle just took him down. She radios to Candlestick. Bro, Candlestick better be hot, bro. When I was younger and I saw Candlestick, I was like, it's doing it for me. He's might hear me out, you know. But she radios the Candlestick and telling him that this deed is done. He says, well done, and tells her to prepare for transport. She tosses a disc that opens up a portal and sucks up the Minotaur. She says that's cool as hell, bro. But Candlestick says that there's no time to dawdle because there's more commotion in another city. She says it never ends and hops on this rad fucking motorcycle. And when she's riding it, she asks where the Minotaur went, but he says she doesn't want to know. And then she reminisces about her childhood. She had a freaking baller family who loved her. Her dad worked in the Air Force, and her mom was kind of there too. Oh, and also part of a long line of kick-ass monster hunters. Damn, the only thing my mom hunted was the belt. Anyway, they were a normal family. Well, that's until a little boy named Alex came to live with them. He lost his entire family in a hunt, so the mom took this poor lad in, and Belle and him became fast friends. They did everything together, and were watched over by their butler Candlestick, who looked after them while the parents were away, and basically raised them, because their families have been tight for generations. But everything changed when Belle's mom died on one of her hunts, which really devastated the whole family. Like, a lot. The dad threw himself into his work and the kids, they were just hurting. But it seems like it hit Alex the hardest because he practically lost 2 moms. But her thoughts get cut short because she almost gets freaking destroyed by this tractor trailer. Candlestick asks if she's good and asks how far she is from the next monster. But she's almost there. Wait, she drove from DC to Philly? That's almost like a 3-hour drive, bro. Boobies must be chitty. When she gets there, she asks if this is the right place because it's attacking the Free Library of Philly, another American landmark. So things are getting a little suspicious. She goes in and searches the place, but is having a hard time finding this baddie. Well, that's until she gets attacked by a freaking centaur. And honestly, I gotta give it up to the artist of this comic. Everything looks freaking awesome, from the bike to the monsters to just Belle herself. Keep up the good work. Please don't have a repeat of freaking Pooh versus Bambi, where in the last issue the art just drops off. She runs from the centaur while it messes up the library, but she loses track of it somehow and falls off of a bookshelf while reminiscing about her training. Well, he gets the drop on her and hits her with a flail, knocking her through a wall. She remembers that Candlestick said that the change of environment might help her with a fight, so she climbs on top of the roof. It follows her up there, leaving her no room to hide or nowhere else to run. So they start to brawl, and before she defeats him, he says, "We make quiet work." And when the fight is done, we see that she fucked his shit up, bro. And when she's on her way back to HQ, she wonders what he meant by we, but kind of chalks it up to him not knowing English properly. Really, dude? You don't think you just brushed that off a little too easily? Like, it's kind of dumb. And when she gets to the Belle Cave, she starts to question why the beasts are going into major cities, when the usual MOs are zoos and small towns. She packs up her gear and wants to see what Candlestick has to say about the whole thing. But the HQ hub has been absolutely torn apart. She looks around to see if anyone's still there when she finds Candlestick, who tells her to run. She tries to get him out of there, but he just yells to run, and a support beam snaps, forcing Candlestick to push Belle out of the way, and he gets crushed by the rubble. All while they get attacked by this eldritch-looking sea monster. What the fuck? And that is where issue 1 ends, and I gotta say, the writing is actually like really fun. It's been a while since I've covered a Zine Scope comic because the most recent ones have been a little rough. But this is like a good refresher, you know? And if you're gonna give me flack for saying that the writing's been a little rough, just remember the last issue of Pooh versus Bambi. It was absolutely rushed. Come on, dog. Also, like, rest in peace, Candlestick. No way he survived that bullshit. So you're probably wondering what happened next, right? Well, when we see Belle again, she's fucking drowning. And when she comes up for air, she climbs onto a door and vows revenge for the people who did this to Candlestick. But she has no time to rest because she gets wrapped up by a tentacle and gets pulled back under. She finds her axe and cuts herself free and makes it back to the shore. But the monster just keeps on coming. And shit's the these tremor looking things at her, which she's not too happy about. She takes it on and they wrap her up with their tongue, but she just kind of cuts its head off. Another one lunges at her, but she kills it immediately, getting pinned underneath it. And the last one wraps its tongue around her neck and starts to choke the crap out of her. But she pulls the axe out of one and kills the other crawly, which only leaves one threat left, the Big Mama. But it explodes before she even gets a chance to fight it. And as she passes out, she sees that a sub came in to save her, but she totally had it down. We cut to a little earlier where we see Belle chilling in a coffee shop. Her friend gives her a little grief because she fell asleep again. But Belle says she had a late night. I mean, yeah, you're telling me, right? This bitch drove from fucking DC to Philly. And also Five Monsters, you know. Give the girlie a break. They leave and her friend asks her what she's doing that's making her so tired. Is she like a superhero or something? She says it's just long hours, but her friend thinks she might have a little boyfriend. But she promises it's not the case. And she's like, oh yeah, I know, cause your standards are way too high. But Belle says that's not true. She just wants somebody funny. And like, dude, I just wanna throw my hat out there. I'm like right here, babe. Come on. I may be skinny, but I'm fierce. I make myself laugh. Her friend teases her a little bit more, but then she notices that the people in the park are turning into stone. She tells her friends that they need to get out of there, but then she gets attacked by Medusa. She dodges her attack and is confused because her mom took her out. She's able to escape and says none of this makes any sense. But then she hears someone asking for help. It's her friend Mel, and when she checks on her, she's like, oh, mega dead, dude. Then a bunch of snakes start pouring out of her eyes and mouth, freaking out Belle. Then Belle gets grabbed by Medusa. She starts to pry open her eyes so she can turn into stone, and unfortunately, she succeeds, turning her to stone. We then see Belle waking up. You're trying to tell me all of that was a dream sequence? So half of this entire comic just doesn't matter? I love that shit, bro. Keep it up. Anyway, Belle is safe on this mysterious submarine, where a doctor tells her there's a war to fight. Belle's like, dude, I don't even know who you are. What's going on? And the doctor tells her she'll explain everything as soon as she gets dressed. But Belle's like, just at least give me her name. And introduces herself as Patricia Otts, and she's a sister of Candlestick. They walk through the sub while she asks for more info. Like, what is this place? She calls it the Cryptid Hunting Intelligence Program, also known as CHIP. Wait, this is Chip? That cute little guy from the movie? Now he's blowing niggas up. Damn, they grow up so fast. Anyway, Patty says she's not surprised she doesn't know who she is because Candlestick and her weren't exactly close. And she said he's gone, but she's like, it's fine. She then immediately moves on to talk about all the weapons they're developing. She tells her that the weapons that she's been using are way out of date, so they're gonna have to fix that later. She keeps showing Belle around the sub, but there's something brewing around the ship, because when one of the workers try to take a smoke break, he gets a tentacle shot straight in the mouth and rips his skull apart. They get to the armory, which is good, because they just got alerted to the whole situation. They run to all the commotion. When they get there, they find a hot sea hag. Belle tells Patricia to leave, but she says she's not going to anywhere because that bitch killed her crew. And the monster, Betty, said she's heard so much about this new hunter. Belle whisks Patty out of there while wondering how the hag knows about her. Belle tries to tell Patty that they need to regroup, but Patricia says that this is her ship, and she'll be damned if she lets this shit slide. And when the hag bursts into the room, the two of them start dicing up the eels attacking them. The rest of the crew come to help, but Belle gets slammed and the crew just gets slaughtered. Belle thinks they need to level the playing field, and so she dips. And Patty's like, dude, where are you going? And I guess that's fair. You couldn't have been that concerned about her if you're leaving her to die, right? That's crazy work, blood. She goes to a control panel and sticks an accident. Cutting back to Patricia, she's kind of kicking ass. But then she gets captured by all the eels. The hag is about to kill her, but then an explosion knocks the two of them back because Belle just shot her with a railgun. She guns down the rest of the eels, causing the hag to retreat. And when she checks on Patty, she tells her that she'll manage. The sub starts to explode, so the two of them need to get out of there. So they enter this escape pod and make a daring escape. And when they surface, Patty tells Belle she's got to get off the grid because she's the one being hunted now. She gives her a briefcase and tells her not to open it until she's in a secure location. Belle asks what it is, but Patty just dips, leaving Belle confused as hell. We then see Patty went to someone's apartment, and when she knocks on the door, it's her friend Mel, who's happy to see her. She asks if she can crash at her place, and she says of course. She lets her in, but tells her she needs to take a shower because she stank. And when she's alone, she opens up the case, revealing brand new gear she's gonna kick ass in. We then cut to somewhere called the Pit, where we see hooded men reporting all the monsters failing. They've been leaving the task to incapable hands, and that's why they got our boy Alex on the job. What the hell did they do to him? He's hot now! We then cut to Belle on her Batman shit running on rooftops in her brand new suit. She thinks to herself how hard her life is. She knows people out there have it the same, or even worse, but sometimes she has to be selfish. She doesn't let many people in, but when she does, she'll do anything to protect them. And she'll do that by any means necessary. And that's why she's going to save Mel, who's been captured apparently. She's literally getting everybody that she knows in trouble, bro. First Candlestick, then Patty, now Mel. Maybe you should just go off the grid, bro. Just give it up. We come back to earlier in Mel's apartment where we see Belle checking out her new gear. While she's inspecting her stuff, Mel knocks on the door. She asks her if she's good, and she says that she's alright. Mel wants to talk because her house literally fell into the river, but Belle tells her that she needs to give her a second. Mel doesn't take heed though because she starts coming inside. Belle rushes to block the door though to keep Mel out. Mel tells her that she'll always be there for her, which leads Belle to consider telling her about everything. She's about to go out and show her the real her, but then we cut back to Belle on the rooftop who says this has to end tonight. She hits a button on her mask that gives her detective vision that lets her see through walls and junk. She spots a blood trail and continues to follow it. She pulls out her brand spanking new axe and says she doesn't know why this is happening, but she's gonna find out. We come back to the apartment where Mel is still waiting for Belle to come out. But then Alex bursts through the wall, freaking out Mel. Belle rushes out to see what's going on, but she comes face to face with her old friend. He attacks her, but she dodges all of his moves. And when he does hit her, she falls on the ground where he's about to fuck her shit up. But Mel comes in for the save by hitting him with a lamp, which pisses off Alex. But before he can attack Mel, Belle tackles him into a bookshelf. She slices him with a piece of debris, but it does absolutely nothing to her, and he knocks her away. Then he turns his attention to Mel. And when Belle gets back up, she finds a puddle of the beast's blood, who just took Mel. Something that we already knew from the beginning of the issue. So it's kind of like, why even show it? Why show it in that order at least? We then cut back to the present day where Belle finds the end of the trail, which leads her to this busted up building. But when she investigates it, she knows that there's something wrong, because there's no sign of either of them, even with the detective vision, which kind of pisses her off because she just lost another loved one. It makes her so upset, in fact, that she just starts messing up the entire building until it falls apart. But when the dust settles, she comes across this hidden hatch. So she decides to investigate. And when she gets down there, she finds this spooky cave. And as she keeps exploring, we find out that she's not alone. More of these creepy crawlies start to surround her while she stands on a rock. And when she turns around, she's ready to throw down. She takes on all the monsters and straight cuts them into pieces, but they eventually overwhelm her and start to hold her down. And when they're about to kill her, she starts to remember when she was back in school, where she hears a voice ask her why she's so down. It's Mel, and she says that Belle looks like she can use a friend. And she kind of does, because they met right after Alex decided to leave the house for good. He feels like their mom is still alive and is still out there somewhere, so he wants to go and try to find her. But Belle says she isn't even his real mom, which is crazy hurtful and absolutely crushes our boy Alex, who leaves the house, never to be seen again. After that, Belle spent most of her time with Mel, to the point where they did literally everything together. And when people would mess with Belle, she would always step up to the occasion. Who the hell would make fun of someone for being an orphan? What are these, the freaking bullies from the Spider-Man 1? As a grown man, I would kick that kid's ass. All these memories make Belle lock in, so she grabs this orb out of her pocket, and when she presses a button on it, it creates this huge bright light, absolutely destroying all the monsters. So now she's free to explore the rest of the cave, where she comes face to face with Alex. Again, they both get ready to throw down, and when they charge at each other, Belle slashes him with her axe. He keeps attacking, but Belle gets behind him and shoots a grappling hook through his leg, which kind of pisses him off. He grabs her, but she stabs him with the axe, causing him to throw her. She gets back up, working through the exhaustion, and she's hoping that he's exhausted too. But it's a good thing she's got a plan for once. She rushes towards the beast and slashes him while getting behind him. Then she shoots wrist rockets at him and absolutely peppering his back. She tells him to stay down, but my boy just loves that punishment because he tries to get back up. She tells him that he was a pretty tough fight, and she wishes she knew why he came after her, all while shooting another grappling hook through his arm, pinning him. And as she's about to cut him down, she gets kicked by a mysterious woman. She tells her to chill out because there's plenty of time to die. She tells Belle that the beast is actually Alex. Kind of finds that hard to believe though, and asks her how she can tell she's telling the truth. And the mysterious woman takes her hood off, revealing that it's her mother. Oh my god! Who would have thought that, unless you have any type of media literacy at all, bro? They said she was dead, but they never showed a body, which leaves, like, that's just a rule of thumb, bro. If they don't show a body and say somebody's dead, they can always come back. Anyway, she thinks she's a shapeshifter or something, but her mom says she's telling the truth. And the thing about everything that led her here, the attack at the base, Chip, Mel's apartment, who else would have known all that? Not you, because you weren't there. You abandoned her as a child. Unless Belle's like absolutely trash at keeping her identity. I mean, she's kind of trash at her job already, but you know. Belle gets pissed off because she's never stopped by to say hi, and because she sent all the monsters she's ever fought. But her mom says she only sent the recent ones, because they don't control everything. Yet. Belle asks who this we is, but her mom says she's done answering questions, because there's other plans on the agenda, and tells Belle that all she needs to know is that she's there because of her mom, and she's about to change the world. But Belle says fuck that, and to tell her everything. Her mom is kind of proud because she's as fiery as she is, so she does tell her everything. After Alex left home, he continued his search for their mom, and he let nothing stand in his way. He followed literally every lead he thought would lead her to her, not knowing that she was pulling the strings the entire time. And it all eventually led him to this tree, and when he reaches inside of it, he gets transformed into the beast, and given a new purpose. Belle freaks out because of what she did to him, but her mom says she did it because she found her purpose. And when they're done here, the people will know true fear. Belle tells her she doesn't want to do this, but her mom says there's only one way out of this, with her death. Their weapons clash, and her mom tells Belle she was trained well. But not well enough though, because she gets distracted and gets kicked by her. She starts throwing knives at her mom, but she deflects all of them. She catches it and throws it into her daughter's leg. They keep duking it out, but the mom gets the upper hand and slashes Belle. She's about to slice her neck, but Belle headbutts her in the face. But that only pisses her off. She goes after Belle and knocks her axe away and prepares to kill her daughter. But before she can, Alex breaks free and protects Belle, getting stabbed instead. He then knocks her mother away, all while Belle checks on Mel because the whole place is starting to come down. Their mom yells for Alex, but Belle says they should probably get out of there. Their mom tries to go after them but gets trapped under some falling rubble and tells her that they can't stop what's already in motion. Belle says goodbye to her mom and presses a button on her belt. And then they suddenly find themselves in a white room with lower art quality. They try to figure out where they are until Patty comes in. The medics start to tend to Alex, but wow, Jesus Christ, his art fucking dropped in quality so hard, bro. We were literally looking at masterpieces in the first issue, and now it's like little scribbles, dude. The medics they look after Alex. Yeah, he's that's the end of the comic. And that is where the story ends. And I gotta say, it's okay. I mean, it's not groundbreaking, but it's also not the worst thing I've ever read, you know what I mean? I kind of wish she had somebody to bounce more of her dialogue off with, you know? Because most of the comic was her, like, internal dialogue, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind that. But, like, it seems like we would have had, like, a little bit more fun if she had, like, Candlestick still around in the beginning, you know? Their banter was pretty funny and also like a lot of fun. There was also like a whole bunch of action in this where it was like back to back. So it didn't really feel like we had too much time to breathe or to like develop the character a little bit more. Even though she kind of sucked in most of the fights. I mean, I hate to say it, but she kind of did. Also, I have to say it, just like Pooh versus Bambi, the art just dipped in quality so hard. I'm pretty sure like the publisher just started doing it himself. But yeah, it's okay. Like, but that's what I thought about the comic, and I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like the video. And hype it up, come on. And subscribe so that I can feel a crumb of validation. But I'll see you guys in the next one. And make sure you tell your family that you love them. Bye-bye now.